Howdy y'all. Thank you for joining me today as we unbox this Marvel Champions expansion, the Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. This will be available this Friday on March the 7th of 2025. And we have it a little bit ahead of time. And as you can see here, this is like the typical little 2-character expansion they typically do, where it comes with 2 characters. And I call it the campaign expansions because it's going to take us through a campaign. And as we can see here, it's going to be Black Widow, Batroc, MODOK, and the Thunderbolts. So let's go ahead and just break this open and see what's new, because you know how excited I am about all this. I will admit, I have already seen Maria Hill just from a spoiler that was accidentally on my Facebook, but I have no clue. I usually try to keep this thing spoiler free just so I can kind of enjoy it. But here we go. So just like in the others, we get the rule book, which is going to have, when you open it up, it's going to have any of the featured keywords and stuff that they may assume you may need to know because maybe you don't have cards that already have them, or if there is something new to this one in particular. And then, of course, it has all the campaign rules and whatnot in there. And then, oh, I should have made the guess first, but so we already see here that Nick Fury is going to be Justice and Maria Hill will be Leadership, which I probably would have guessed Maria Hill's Leadership just because of looking at her ability, and you'll see whenever we get to it. And I'm not going to go any further. I mean, I'll show the scenario one, but that's how they break it up. It's usually got a comic book, and then it's got like the scenario and how to set it up and whatnot. And then you would continue on through each of them, but don't want to show any spoilers just in case you want to go through it and not be spoiled on it. All right. You should have your packs of cards in here. Looks like we got 5 of them and some type of envelope. Interesting. All right, I went ahead and removed the plastic from all these and got the bad guys in order for when we go through those. And then we'll go through each of these. Just going to show y'all. They had 2 little paper envelopes in there. I'm assuming this has to do with the campaign. They always have something unique and interesting, so this is probably going to have something where you're putting cards in here and they're like covert information or whatnot, or dossiers in some way. Okay, we're going to start with Maria Hill, and I'm just going to treat this like the way I do the hero packs. Like I said, I've already seen the Maria Hill card itself, but I don't know anything else about this deck. That's just the fun of me is doing this and going through it, so we'll just treat it like that. So right off the bat here, we have Maria Hill. She has a 2 thwart, 1 attack, 2 defense. She's a S.H.I.E.L.D. spy in her hero form. Each ally you control gains the S.H.I.E.L.D. trait. Her reassignment action or ability is an action. You move 1 all-purpose counter from a S.H.I.E.L.D. support to another S.H.I.E.L.D. support. Sounds pretty good. Let's look at her alter ego, which should still be, yep, Maria Hill. She has a 3 recovery, S.H.I.E.L.D. on this side also, spy. You may include the maximum number of copies of 3 S.H.I.E.L.D. supports in your deck from aspects other than your chosen aspect. Action, exhaust Maria Hill, search your deck for a S.H.I.E.L.D. support and add it to your hand. Sorry, I had to do a weird cut there. I don't know why this wasn't focusing, but there you go. You can see this is going to be the 15 cards that if you're playing Maria Hill, you have to have in here. And as usual, each of the characters has typically, there's a few that don't, but they typically have an ally that goes with their cards. And here's one. It's a 4 cost, Nick Fury, ally, 3 hit points. He has a 2 thwart with something special and a 2 attack with something special. He's S.H.I.E.L.D. The specials are, as a response, after Nick Fury uses a basic power, place 1 all-purpose counter on a S.H.I.E.L.D. support. Seems pretty good. And then we have an all points bulletin, 2 cost event, tactic, hero action. For each S.H.I.E.L.D. support you control, choose. Remove 1 threat from a scheme or deal 1 damage to an enemy. And we get 2 of those. Sorry, I'm still getting back used to this, but we'll do it like this. All right, on the double, 0 cost event, action, ready any number of S.H.I.E.L.D. supports with a combined printed cost of 6 or less. One cost reinforcements, event, Action, choose any number of shield supports with a combined printed cost of 6 or less. Place one all-purpose counter on each of those supports. So it looks like that's what she's going to be all about doing, especially with Nick Fury's, is putting all these counters back on there, reloading all your cards. Seems pretty good. And there's 3 of those. The hard call, 2-cost event. Hero action, discard a shield support you control. Deal X damage to each enemy, where X is the printed cost of the discarded support. I mean, all baddies? Seems good. Yeah, I'm going to keep saying seems good because I like these cards. Special funding. This is a resource. So 2 resources. As a response, after you spend this card to pay for a shield support, place one all-purpose counter on that support after it enters play. And we get 2 of those. And then support staff, 1-cost support. Persona shield uses 3 staff counters. Resource, exhaust support staff and remove 1 staff counter from it to generate a wild resource for a player whose identity has the shield trait. All right, we have the Iliad, 6-cost support. Ooh, hope that gets cheaper somehow. And actually, I'm just thinking about, sorry, going back on it, but I'm thinking about this one because it says discard a shield support, and now you can do 6 damage to every single villain and minion. Deal X damage to each enemy where X is the printed cost. Oof. So if you can make this cheaper and get it out, now, do you want to get rid of it? That's the question. So its uses, 3 mission counters. As an action, exhaust the Iliad and remove 1 mission counter from it. Choose, deal 5 damage to an enemy, or remove 4 threat from a scheme, or heal 3 damage from an identity. So I mean, bring it out, use it twice, and then pop it on that other thing. Seems good. It means it's going to go away anyways, might as well. 2-cost upgrade, life model decoy. I actually expected something like this in the Nick Fury deck, but we'll see. Preparation tech, interrupt. When an enemy attacks you, discard life model decoy. That allows you to prevent all damage from that attack. I mean, pretty cheap for what it does. 2-cost upgrade, shield director. Title, action, exhaust shield director. Place 1 all-purpose counter on a shield support. Really good. So that's all 15 of our cards. So now we should start seeing the leadership cards, which means let's see some new allies, because that's going to be what leadership's all about, and we always see new cards. So here we have Victoria Hand, 3-cost ally. She's got 2 hit points, 2 thwart, 1 attack, 1 consequence star on each. Shield, response, after Victoria Hand enters play, ready a shield support. Slingshot. So we got Yo-Yo here, Yo-Yo Rodriguez. 3-cost ally. 3 hit points, 2 thwart, 2 attack, 1 consequence star each. Shield Spy. As an action, spend a energy resource. Put Slingshot into play from your hand under any player's control. At the end of the phase, if Slingshot is still in play, return her to your hand. I like this a lot, even if it's not a shield deck. Because if I'm reading that right, yeah, you could basically put her into play for 1. Yeah, I like this card. All right, what we got here? New resource, organizational support. As an interrupt, when you spin this card, exhaust up to 3 allies and or supports you control that share a trait with your identity. Generate the printed resource on each card exhausted this way. That's an interesting card. An interesting way to go with it. I think something like that. I like it. I like it a lot. All right, we got the Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. 3-cost support. Team, play under any player's control, max 1 team card per player. If each of your characters has the S.H.I.E.L.D. trait, this card gains interrupt. When you reveal an encounter card, exhaust this card, cancel the effects of that card and discard it, then reveal another card from the encounter deck. And if you've watched my channel, you know how I feel about cards like this. Not saying it's bad, just not my play style. But I definitely see situations, oh, Shadows of the Past? Nah, I don't think so. We'll take something else. All right, we've seen this before. This is an old one. I'm pretty sure. Command Team, 2-cost support. S.H.I.E.L.D. uses 3 command counters. As an action, exhaust Command Team and remove 1 command counter from it to ready an ally. This might be an old one. It's not one I've usually played with, but I think it's an old card. At least the artwork's making me think it's an old card. I feel like I've seen this one before. The Cersei, 6-cost support. S.H.I.E.L.D. vehicle uses 2 deploy counters. As an action, exhaust the Cersei, remove one deploy counter from it, and choose a player. That player puts an ally into play from their hand. We have the Bellerophon, 6 cost support, shield vehicle, uses 3 missile counters. Aggression, so it's probably going to be damage, right? Action, exhaust the Bellerophon, remove 1 missile counter from it, and choose a player. Deal 3 damage to the villain and each minion engaged with that player, discarding all tough status cards from those enemies first. It's like having piercing. Should be piercing, it's a missile. So it's like having piercing. I like it. It's just that cost, man. But we've already seen this can definitely do it. We have the Douglas, 6 cost support. This one's probably going to be the same thing, just I'm assuming thwarting. Shield vehicle, uses 3 operation counters. As an action, exhaust the Douglas and remove 1 operation counter from it. Remove 2 threat from each scheme, ignoring any crisis icons in play. Yep. We got the Pericles, 6 cost support. Shield vehicle, uses 2 supply counters. As an action, exhaust the Pericles and remove 1 supply counter from it. Give a hero or villain a status card of your choice. Give an ally or minion a status card of your choice. I like all these. This is definitely one we've already had before because this is in my War Machine deck. Dum Dum Dugan, 5 cost ally, 3 thwart, 3 attack. On the thwart, 3 consequence stars. On the attack, 2 consequence stars. He has 5 hit points. Shield, interrupt. When you use one of Dum Dum Dugan's basic powers, exhaust up to 3 shield cards you control. For each card exhausted this way, Dum Dum Dugan gets +1 to that power for this use. We have Grant Ward, 0 cost ally. 3 hit points, 2 thwart, 2 attack, 1 consequence star each, shield spy. Grant Ward cannot defend. As a forced response, after you reveal a treachery, you may spend a mental resource. If you do not, take damage equal to Grant Ward's attack and remove Grant Ward from the game. Makes sense since he turned on them. So yeah, you get this cheap ally, but most likely you're going to hit a treachery, so you got to make sure you have that mental resource ready to discard for him. Melinda May, 4 cost ally with 3 hit points, 2 thwart with and 2 attack. Both of them having a response, and 1 consequence star each, shield spy. The response for both of those are after Melinda May uses a basic power, look at the top card of the encounter deck. You may discard that card. Alright, here's a team up card. Super Spies, 0 cost event. Maria Hill and Nick Fury, which I was already thinking about. You could have the old Nick Fury and this Nick Fury in there. Hero action, place a total of 3 all-purpose counters and or threat tokens on shield supports and or suit form upgrades. So it's not really going to help unless you actually have someone playing Nick Fury, because I know he has something to do with suits forms. So, all right, we're seeing some new art for the Energy, Genius, and Strength, which are oldie but goodies, but there's the new arts. And now we're into the basic. We've been into basics, I guess. Front Organization, 0 cost support. Location, play under any player's control, max 1 per player. As an interrupt, when an encounter card effect would discard a card you control, discard Front Organization instead of discarding that card. It costs 0, so it will protect something that you are worried about, especially in this deck where it has those 6s, and then something comes along and says get rid of a support. You're going to want this, otherwise you just wasted a lot of resources. That's the deck for Maria Hill. And now we're going to see her obligation, which is press conference. Give it to the Maria Hill player. Forced response after that player's phase ends. Remove 1 all-purpose counter from each support you control. Her alter ego action. Exhaust your identity to discard this card. So you're going to have that problem. It's going to remove a bunch of stuff because she's got to go do a press conference. And then you have to go in alter ego form. But Maria Hill's Nemesis, this is going to be the 5 cards that you give to the person who's setting up the deck. We got the controller here. 2 scheme, 1 attack, 6 hit points, elite psionic. The force response for scheming and attacking. After controller activates against you, remove 1 all-purpose counter from a support. If controlled innocence is in play, put the top card of your deck into play face down, engaged with you as a controlled minion. Army of the Controlled is the side scheme. When revealed, find the Controlled Innocence environment and put it into play. Okay, no, so it's the environment. When defeated, discard each controlled minion. Place one all-purpose counter on a support for each minion discarded this way. Has the acceleration, and you 3 thwart on there per player. And this is probably going to be the environment then. Yep, Controlled Innocence. Yep, here's the environment. Each face-down controlled minion engaged with a player has a base scheme of 1, a base attack of 1, and a base hit point of 1. Force response: after a controlled minion is defeated, place that card in its owner's discard pile and place 1 threat on the main scheme. Diabolical Disc, Treachery, Surge. When revealed, remove 1 all-purpose counter from a support. If Controlled Innocence is in play, put the top card of your deck into play face down, engaged with you as a controlled minion. Yep, so just slowly taking them over, and we got 2 of those. I can already tell this is a deck I definitely want to play. We got Nick Fury here. 2 thwart, 2 attack, 2 defense. He has something special about his thwart. Shield, Soldier, Spy. The special thing about his thwart is he gathers intel as a response after Nick Fury makes a basic thwart. Place 1 threat on your suit form upgrade. All right, we're going to see what those are. I mean, it's already pretty obvious. They're upgrades. Break cover, Forced Interrupt. When you attack, change to assault suit form. Okay. His alter ego, Nick Fury. 4 recovery. Shield, Soldier, Spy. Suit up. During setup, put your suit form upgrade into play. Assault side face up. Infiltrate as an action, change to stealth suit form. So something's going to have a double-sided card. It's going to be stealth or attacking. All right. And we see here he's got 16, and it's because, yeah, we got his suit form right here. I'm sure, because it's going to go into play automatically. Here's the assault side. Item, tech, suit form, permanent. This makes me want to instantly think I want to build my tech deck that I've never got to work with this. But anyways, let's see what this is all about. As an interrupt, when you attack, remove up to 3 threat from here. This attack deals 1 additional damage for each threat removed this way. Okay. I'm assuming it's going to be the same thing, just thwart on this side. Stealth, suit form, permanent, forced interrupt, hero. When an enemy would attack you, it schemes instead. Place 1 threat from that activation here instead of on the main scheme if there is 5 or less threat on this card. All right, interesting, interesting. Just like we saw Nick Fury and Maria Hill, now we're seeing Maria Hill here. 3 cost ally. 3 hit points, 2 thwart, 1 attack. Something special with the thwart. And that is interrupt. When Maria Hill thwarts, place the removed threat on your suit form upgrade. So build those up to do the extra stuff that suit does. Sorry, I decided to change that up, how we're going to do this. New place of filming, so I'm going to try a new style here. Here we go. Concentrated Fire, 2 cost event, an attack, hero action, attack. Deal 4 damage to an enemy. This attack gains ranged. If this attack defeats an enemy, choose. Place threat on your suit form upgrade equal to that enemy's printed scheme. Or change to stealth suit form. Okay. Covert Surveillance, 1 cost event, thwart, hero action, thwart, remove 2 threat from a scheme. If you are in stealth suit form, you may place that threat on your suit form upgrade. Otherwise, you may change to stealth suit form. So that's what it sounds like. It's going to be his deck should be powering up your suit forms, which we kind of already figured out from that other card from the Maria Hill deck. So we got Spray Fire here, 3 cost event. Attack, hero action, attack. Choose a player, deal 3 damage to the villain and each minion engaged with that player. This attack gains ranged. Okay. Fury's Flying Car. 2 cost support, aerial tech vehicle, hero action, exhaust Fury's Flying Car and remove 1 threat from your suit form upgrade. Ready Nick Fury. He gains the aerial trait until the end of this round. I mean, readying him so he could do more stuff, which is just going to put him back on there. Seems good. Safe House 221. So another Safe House. 1 cost support. Location shield. Alter ego action. Exhaust Safe House 221. Choose. Heal 2 damage from Nick Fury. Or place 1 threat on your suit form upgrade. EM Shield. 2 cost upgrade. Preparation Tech. Interrupt defense. When you would take any amount of damage from an attack, discard EM Shield. Prevent all that damage. Eye Patch Camera, 2 cost upgrade, Preparation Tech, Hero Interrupt. When any amount of threat would be placed on the main scheme, discard Eye Patch Camera. Place up to 3 of that threat on your suit form upgrade instead. Kind of like that one a lot for that just in case time when it's like, man, a lot of stuff getting put on there. We could lose the game. And bam. 1 cost upgrade, Fury's Watch. Item Tech, Resource, exhaust Fury's Watch, and remove up to 2 threat from your suit form upgrade. Generate a mental resource for each threat you remove this way. So you can, when you need that 1 or 2, seems pretty good. Intelligence Analysis, 0 cost upgrade, Preparation Skill. Interrupt, when you reveal a treachery, discard Intelligence Analysis and remove 1 threat from your suit form upgrade. Cancel the effects of that treachery and discard it. See, those are the ones I like. Because, I mean, the replay, man, I always feel like unless you're hitting something really bad or it's going to lose you the game, like Shadows of the Past or just something that, like I said, could lose you the game, you're always going to doubt whether you should ever use them. But if they're just discarding and getting rid of it. Secret Agent. 2 cost upgrade. Title, Hero Response. After you resolve the ability of a preparation card you control, move 1 threat from a scheme to your suit form upgrade. I mean, we already seen all these cards are preparation cards, so this is just something that's nice to have out to load up your upgrade. All right. Yep. We see an ally. Unfortunately, it's not a new one, I don't think. I mean, I know it's not. I just wonder if they change any wording, but yes, this is the one I know we already have. Agent Coulson, 3 cost ally, 3 hit points, 2 thwart, 1 attack. Shield Spy, response. After Agent Coulson enters play, search your deck and discard pile for a preparation card and add it to your hand. Shuffle your deck. So, I mean, you can get those preparation cards or like the ones that are in my Shield deck already anyway. So, yep. And this is another one we already have if you've been getting it from the get-go. But, yep, we got Quake here. 2 cost ally, 2 hit points, 1 thwart, 2 attack. Avenger Shield. As a response, after a minion schemes, exhaust Quake and deal 2 damage to that minion. Global Logistics. So this is one of the ones I was thinking of. 0 cost event. Yeah, this is an old one too. It's in my deck. I think 2 of them. I don't think I play with 3. I might play with 3 of them. Shield Tactic is an action. Exhaust 1 shield card you control. Look at the top 4 cards of a player deck or the encounter deck. Discard any number of those and put the others on the top and or bottom of the deck in any order. Hopefully hitting Shadows of the Past or something. But yeah, good card. Informant, 1 cost upgrade. Preparation, max 1 per player. As an interrupt, when a minion schemes, discard Informant. This action removes that threat instead of placing it. If it didn't say just a minion, I mean, I'm not saying not play with it, but I wouldn't play with 3 of them because it's just a minion. But I understand why I can't say when the villain schemes. Intelligence, 1 cost upgrade. Preparation, max 1 per player. As a response, after a player is dealt an encounter card, discard Intelligence. Look at each encounter card dealt to each player and the top card of the encounter deck. You may swap any number of those cards. Prism Dust, 1 cost upgrade. Preparation Tech, max 1 per player. As a hero response attack, after a minion enters play, discard Prism Dust, confuse that minion, and deal 2 damage to it. I like that preparation. I mean, even though it's only minions, but it's a preparation. Under Surveillance, this is an old card, 2 cost upgrade. Condition, attached to the main scheme, max 1 per scheme. Increase the target threat value of attached scheme by 4. I don't know if I'd play with 3 of them, but having 1 in the deck just in case you hit them. And hey, actually, We got old David Hasselhoff here, right? Nick Fury Sr. 4-cost ally, 3 hit points, 2 thwart, 2 attack, shield soldier. Forced response. After Nick Fury Sr. enters play, choose one. Remove 3 threat from a scheme, draw 2 cards, or give a shield character a tough status card. At the end of the round, if Nick Fury Sr. is still in play, discard him. I mean, I like this just for the fact of if you play with the other Nick Fury, you have another Nick Fury here. I like that other Nick Fury card just for its options, and I like playing very toolbox, so this is very toolbox for me. There is a movie called Nick Fury where David Hasselhoff plays Nick Fury Sr. basically. We've already seen this one, Super Spies. It was in the Maria Hill deck. Gemma Simmons, 3-cost support. Persona S.H.I.E.L.D. Reduce the cost to play Gemma Simmons by 2 if your identity has the S.H.I.E.L.D. trait. Resource, exhaust Gemma Simmons, generate a mental resource for a tech card. Yeah, I like it. We have Leo Fitz here. 3-cost support. Persona S.H.I.E.L.D. Reduce the cost to play Leo Fitz by 2 if your identity has a S.H.I.E.L.D. trait. Alter ego action, exhaust Leo Fitz, search your deck for a tech card and add it to your hand. So once again, helping you with the tech. And I mean, even if you don't have the shield, I mean, 3 and being able to go with these techs might actually make Iron Man. I'm not saying it's just so slow to get him started. So maybe throwing these in just to speed it up. This is definitely in my deck with the War Machine. So this is an old card, Sky Destroyer, 3-cost support. Shield vehicle as a response after you play a shield card. Exhaust Sky Destroyer to deal 2 damage to an enemy. Practice plan, 0-cost upgrade. Preparation, max 1 per player. As a response, after you discard a preparation card you control, discard practice plan. Return that card to your hand from your discard pile. I actually like this for some of those preparation cards because you can have it out there and just the ones that you don't care. I mean, they're all good, but if you don't really think you're hitting it that much, you can let it go. But then the ones that you really need for that villain, this will help you keep that going. All right, so that's all of Nick Fury's deck. Let's look at his obligation here. Discovered. When revealed, change to Assault Suit form. If there's no threat on your suit form upgrade, this card gains Surge. Otherwise, choose to either take 1 damage for each threat on your suit form upgrade or remove each threat from your suit form upgrade. In either case, discard this card. So his don't have a way to just get rid of it. Yeah, there's no way to get rid of his obligation. I guess it makes sense because does he get discovered? He gets discovered. All right, we see his nemesis here, Orion. 2 scheme, 2 attack, 6 hit points. Leviathan, toughness. Orion can have any number of tough status cards. As a forced response, after Orion takes any amount of damage, give him a tough status card. Ooh, you gotta hit him hard then. All right, we got his side scheme here. Acquire Infinity Formula, side scheme, forced response. After Nick Fury takes any amount of damage, give Orion a tough status card. If Orion is not in play, find him and put him into play, engaged with the Nick Fury player. It has the additional boost icon, and you get 5 threat on there. All right. We have the Leviathan Soldier, 0 scheme with a forced response, 2 attack, 4 hit points. It gets toughness. The forced response for the scheme is after Leviathan Soldier schemes, deal 1 damage to the engaged player's identity. Leviathan Soldier, we already seen. Cold Storage, Treachery. When revealed, search the encounter deck and discard pile for a Leviathan minion and put it into play engaged with you. Otherwise, take 2 damage. Boost is take 1 damage. I still think Maria Hill is going to be the main one I want to play, but I mean, this one seems like it could be fun and cool. So we'll see how that goes. All right, let's jump into the villains here and see how they are. I think I got this in order. This is, of course, probably going to be the order you're going to run into them in the campaign. So this could be a little bit of spoiler stuff. I am going to stop and talk about this real fast, just in case you're new to the channel or just found this. What I like to do is take these, when these come out, I usually, when a hero pack comes out, I'll just take the hero, play them unchanged. And usually when they have a hero, it comes with, they're kind of wrapped up inside like a campaign cycle. Like this one is the Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. cycle. So typically I will play that hero pack up against the first person in that campaign or villain in that campaign. In this case, it is Black Widow. So with these, I will be doing 2 playthroughs, Nick Fury and Maria Hill. but I will be putting them up against, I'm pretty sure, Black Widow. Here's Black Widow stage 1, 2 scheme, 1 attack. Forced to interrupt. When a character you control attacks Black Widow, remove 1 threat from the main scheme. Ignore any crisis icons in play. Discard the top card of the encounter deck and resolve each preparation ability on that card. So it sounds like she's going to, I mean, it makes sense because Black Widow, the character, was all about preparation. And we saw a lot of preparation cards here with Nick Fury. So it makes sense, especially when we saw Nebula and she kind of worked the way her hero card, or her identity, I should say, worked. So it makes sense that we're going to see Black Widow doing a bunch of preparation stuff. I almost forgot because I always usually do. We can see here she's going to have 23 cards inside of her deck, inside of the encounter deck that she's going to mix in. And she's going to have 13 hit points per player. So here we see her attack goes up for stage 2. She has a when revealed, place 2 threat per player on the main scheme. And I was just reading over this because I noticed it's pretty much the same wording here, except it does not say ignoring any crisis icons in play. So I'm wondering if they just didn't have room for that, or now if it has a crisis icon, you don't do this. Nah, you would have to, because then otherwise her ability would never trigger. So I'm assuming it still uses the ignoring any crisis icons in play, because if she can't pay that, then you just get lucky and don't get the preparation. So I'm assuming it still uses that. And the other change to her stage 2 is now she has 16 hit points per player. And then we see with the stage 3, gets an additional scheme. Now when revealed is 3 threat per player. And then it's the same ability. All right, well, let's go ahead and see what these preparations we're going to have to deal with are going to be. Oh yeah, we got to deal with her main scheme first. So her main scheme, the Widow's Web. So it looks like we're going to be dealing with AIM abduction and AIM science. So we're going to be dealing with a bunch of AIM. The setup, each player searches their encounter deck for a minion, and puts it into play engaged with them. So we're going to have to remember that because we're going to have to pay attention to the AIM stuff and see what it all does. Then the main scheme is going to start with 2 per player. It's going to accelerate X per player. So we're going to have to see what that is, which it looks like I'm just going to go ahead and look at it. X is the Black Widow's stage number. So whatever stage she's in, that's how much the acceleration is. 10 per player. And it's just a one shot. If she pulls this off, she wins. All right. All right, so we're getting into her actual cards now. We have Black Widow's Gauntlet. It's going to give her +1 attack. This is an attachment for her. Yep, attached to Black Widow, tech weapon. Black Widow gains Retaliate, 1. Hero response, after a character you control attacks Black Widow, if no preparation ability was resolved, discard this card. And this is a preparation. Attach this card to Black Widow's. And we see 2 of those. We got the grappling hook here. It's an attachment item attached to Black Widow. Forced to interrupt. When a player plays an event card, cancel its effects and discard it. Then discard this card. Preparation, discard 1 event card from your hand. I don't like it. Night Vision Goggles gives her +1 scheme attachment attached to Black Widow. Each encounter card without a printed preparation ability gains preparation. Prevent all damage from this attack, then discard Night Vision Goggles. Preparation, attach this card to Black Widow. Boo. Stun Net attachment. Attached to your identity. Attached character cannot attack. Hero action. Exhaust a character you control. Discard this card. Any player may trigger this ability. Preparation. After this attack, attach this card to the attacking character. AIM Commando. Minion. 1 scheme. 2 attack. 3 hit points. Has quick strike. Means attacks immediately. Preparation. After this attack, put this minion into play engaged with you. Because, I mean, usually when they put these lines there, it's usually for the boost. But these aren't boosts. So I'm assuming it's just when her ability triggers. Otherwise, this preparation stuff doesn't happen. AIM Grunt. 1 scheme, 1 attack, 5 hit points. Don't sound like much of a grunt. Here we go. Guard. Yeah, he's definitely guarding. Preparation. Put this minion into play engaged with you. Then resolve the attack against AIM Grunt instead. Automated defenses. It's a side scheme. Hinder 1 per player, so starts out with 3 threat plus 1 per player. Each encounter card without a printed preparation ability gains preparation, deal 1 damage to the attacking character, and increase boost. So this makes all the other side schemes nastier. Or not side schemes. Just all the other encounter cards nastier. Get rid of that. No side scheme, destroy evidence. Has 2 threat, gets hinder 2 per player, so it gets 2 more threat per player. Each other encounter card gains insight 1. Which means, yeah, it's going to be throwing stuff on the main scheme, and it's got crisis. No, sir. No, sir. Attack acrobatics, treachery. When revealed, if you are in alter ego form, change to hero form. Black Widow attacks you. Give her an additional boost card for this attack. Well, that sounds lovely. Preparation, prevent all damage from this attack. In expert mode, deal that much damage to the attacking character. Another attack acrobatics. Covert ops treachery. When revealed, you are confused. Black Widow schemes. Preparation. Place 1 threat on each scheme. No, sir. That's going to throw more scheme on there, and you're confused, so you can't even go and do anything about it. Ugh. Dance of Death. Treachery. When revealed, deal 1 damage to a character you control. Deal 2 damage to a second character you control. Deal 3 damage to a third character you control. Well, leadership decks, boo. Preparation, deal 1 damage to each character you control. That makes sense. That's how I want to say that's the way her Dance of Death card works in her hero. So, Widow's Bite treachery. When revealed, you are stunned. Take 1 damage. 2 damage instead if you were already stunned. Preparation, after this attack, stun the attacking character. All right. So that's Black Widow's stuff, and then, yeah, it said the aim abductor. So we're probably going to see the little side encounters. That lets us know there's going to be 5 here for the aim abductor. So aim abductor, minion, 1 scheme, 2 attack. 4 hit points, aim. When revealed, tuck the ally you control with the most remaining hit points under abduct superhumans. Otherwise, place 2 threat on abduct superhumans. Man, I cannot say that. If abduct superhumans is not in play, find it and put it into play. Get 2 of those, and then here's the abduct superhumans that you go find and put into play as a side scheme for that encounter set. Abduct superhumans. It gets 2 per player for threat. It has surge. Forced interrupt. When an ally leaves play, tuck it under here and place threat here equal to its cost. Then place 1 acceleration token here. When defeated, put each ally tucked here into play under its owner's control. So at least you get the allies back when you get rid of this. And just be aware, because I know some people do mess this up. If this comes into play normally, because of encounter step, it does get surge. But if you're doing it with this one, this says put it into play, so you would ignore that surge. Nabbed, treachery. When revealed, if abduct superhumans is not in play, find it and put it into play. Same thing we just talked about. Discard cards from the top of your deck until an ally is discarded and tuck it under abduct superhumans. Place threat equal to that ally's cost and 1 acceleration token on abduct superhumans. Man, I feel like I'm going through the hoods, and then 2 of those for that. I feel like I'm going through the hoods villain deck all over again. Just take out the leadership decks. This is the other one that's going to be in there. It mentioned AIM Science. It's going to have 5 cards in its deck also. AIM Scientist, minion, 0 scheme, 0 attack, 2 hit points. Surge, vulnerable. Discard this character if it is stunned or confused. So he's got to stun or confuse it to get rid of it. While the engaged player is engaged with another minion, AIM Scientist cannot be attacked. It has acceleration, so it's just kind of an annoyance. You can probably take it out, but it's just forcing you to have to take it out. And it's getting surged, so if you're playing with other AIM guys, the odds are you could get more guys. So, yep, an annoyance. So it's just one of them. I was like, God, hope there's not a lot of those. AIM Soldier, 1 scheme, 2 attack, 3 hit points. Patrol. When revealed, find AIM Scientist and put it into play engaged with you. What we just talked about. If it is already in play, it engages you. If AIM Scientist did not interplay this way, place 1 threat on the main scheme. And we got aim soldiers, all to go get that scientist, right? And then we get to see the side scheme that comes with this, Mad Science. It's a side scheme. It's going to get 2 threat on it, hinder 2, so 2 additional threat added per player. Each aim minion gains 1 acceleration icon. So, man, that scientist is out, now it's accelerating 2, and then this is out, it accelerates 3. Ugh. And if you have a ton of aim guys out and you're not taking care of them, yeah. Wasn't one of those aim grunts 5 hit points too? Yeah. So with Black Widow, that's just annoying. So that would be what we're going to be probably going against in the solo. But that's that whole encounter set. Next, we have the next villain. We have Batroc here. 1 scheme, 2 attack with something special. He has an A, so that means he's probably got a side B. He has a forced response, and that has to do with the attack. After Batroc attacks, place 1 threat on alert level. So he must have an environment, or probably his side scheme. It's probably his main scheme. It's probably his main scheme. Forced interrupt. When Batroc would be defeated, reset his hit points to 8 instead. Then remove 6 threat from the main scheme. He's going to have 21 cards in his deck. He only has 8 hit points. So I'm assuming there's going to be something. So let's look at the B side. 2 scheme, 2 attack, which means he gets an additional scheme. Forced response, after Batroc attacks, place 1 threat on alert level, same thing. Forced interrupt, when Batroc would be defeated, reset his hit points to 12, because this side does go up to 12 hit points instead of the 8. And then remove 6 threat from the main scheme. Which looks like he's got, or I shouldn't say, I keep wanting to say side scheme, his main scheme. So it looks like he's got 3 of them here. So we have the Infiltrate AIM Island Embassy. He's going to use the AIM Science we already saw, and then he's probably going to have one under here, Batroc's Brigade. Setup, set each rescued captive ally aside. Put the alert level environment into play, low side face up. In expert mode, place 2 threat per player on the alert level. Then we flip this over. 12 threat per player to pull it off. Infiltrate AIM Island Embassy. Starts with 6 threat per player. It's already halfway done. Acceleration is 1 threat per player. Force interrupt when the last threat is removed from the scheme. Advance to stage 2A. So you need to advance this one. Because if this progresses, you lose the game. Interesting little twist there to... It's forcing you to go through the schemes, whereas usually you're trying to not progress them. Locate missing person. Doesn't do anything. Locate missing person. 10 threat per player. 3 threat per player starts on here. Plus 1 acceleration per player. Forced interrupt. When the last threat is removed from the scheme, put 1 set-aside rescued captive ally into play exhausted under any player's control. The players may advance to stage 3A. If they do not advance, place 3 threat per player here. And same thing, if they pull this one off, they lose. So yeah, you can't let them pull it off, and you're trying to basically knock out Batroc or remove all the threat from here. Extract captives. Main scheme, when revealed, if the alert level is on the high side, deal each player 1 face down encounter card. Otherwise, remove all threat from the alert level and flip it to its high side. In either case, in expert mode, place 2 threat here per player on an alert level. All right. Extract captives, 18 per player for threat. Starts with 12 threat per player. 1 threat per player acceleration. In expert mode, each minion gains quick strike. Forced interrupt. When an enemy attacks, it attacks a rescued captive instead. If there is no threat here, the players win the game. If this stage is completed or there are no rescued captive allies in play, the players lose the game. Man, I kind of almost want to go against Batroc, but we know we're going to do Black Widow. All right, we got an alert level here, which has been talked about in all this. So here's the environment. Here is its low side. If there's at least 4 threat here per player, remove all threat from here and flip this card so it goes to the high side. As a forced response, after a character is defeated except by consequential damage, place 1 threat here. Hero action, spend 1 resource of any type to remove 1 threat from here. Its high side. Batroc gets +1 scheme and +1 attack if there's at least 4 threat per player here. The players lose the game. Force response after a character is defeated except by consequential damage. Place 1 threat here. Hero action, spend 1 resource of any type. Remove 1 threat from here. So here's where you're trying to make sure. Okay, I didn't remember if it said remove all threat. I was about to say, hopefully it does that before you flip it, but I kind of figured it'd have to because it was the same number. But yeah, so this is the alert level. That's the pain in the butt. That's what you're gonna have to deal with. All right, let's look at the rest of these cards. Batroc. This is the rescued captive they were talking about. It is an ally, 1 thwart, 1 attack, 5 hit points, civilian. So victory -1. So if it ends up defeated, it ends up in the victory pile. So you're going to lose victory points if you're playing through the campaign. Does not count against your ally limit. Card abilities cannot remove this ability from play. As a hero action, you can exhaust the rescued captive to remove 1 threat per player from the main scheme. Okay. So this thing at least helps you. And I'm assuming there's going to be several of these rescued captives. I mean, I think it would have been cooler if they had multiple different rescued captives. Store clerk, or here's a captive CEO or hot dog vendor, or I think it would have been cooler. Either way. Heightened reflexes, attachment, attached to Batroc, uses, 4 leap counters, forced interrupt. When Batroc would take any amount of damage, prevent 2 of that damage and remove 1 leap counter from here. Attach this card to Batroc is for the boost. Embassy Guard, minion, 1 scheme, 2 attack, 3 hit points. Aim. He's got guard, he's got vulnerable, which means you just got to stun or confuse him to get rid of him. If alert level is on its high side, this card gains surge. When defeated, place 1 threat on the alert level. Embassy Patrol, 2 scheme, 1 attack, 3 hit points. Patrol and vulnerable, we've already gone over those. If alert level is on its high side, this card gains insight 1. When defeated, place 1 threat on the alert level. So the more guys you're knocking out, the more that alert level is going up, and you got to go mess with it. All right, we got Commandeer Security Office. Side scheme, when revealed, if alert level is on its high side, place 1 acceleration token here. So if it's on its high side, you're going to have to deal with double acceleration. And when defeated, remove 1 threat per player from the alert level, and it's going to have 3 threat on it per player. Leaping Kick Treachery. When revealed, alter ego, Batroc schemes. When revealed, hero, Batroc attacks the ally with the most remaining hit points. This attack gains overkill. If there were no allies in play, Batroc attacks you. And we got Leaping Kick, Leaping Kick. All right, security cameras. Treachery. When revealed, alter ego, remove 1 threat from the alert level. This card gains surge. When revealed, hero. Sorry, I'm going back on that. I just find it interesting. Yeah, like the cameras see you, but they don't see you as a hero. So they're like, we were wrong. And then a hero form. For each character you control, choose to either exhaust that character or place 1 threat on alert level. 2 threat instead if alert level is on its high side. Yeah, I just like the flavor for that security cameras. All right, that's all of Batroc's deck. And then we already saw he's going to get the aim, guys, if you're playing with what it suggests on the back. Next, we go into the Batroc's Brigade. It lets you know there's going to be 5 cards in that deck. We got Machete here. So we're going to have to deal with Danny Trejo. We got 1 scheme, 2 attack with a force something. 3 hit points. He's got surge and vulnerable, which that vulnerable means you just got to stun him to get rid of him. But his attacks gain piercing. And when defeated, shuffle Machete into the encounter deck. Yeah, he's annoying. Rapido, 1 scheme, 3 attack with something special, 4 hit points. Rapido's attack, gain ranged and deal indirect damage. When revealed, deal 1 damage to each character you control. As a boost, deal 1 damage to each character you control. Yeah, this just does not like leadership. Which would make sense because they made one of the decks leadership, or it's against S.H.I.E.L.D., which, if you think about S.H.I.E.L.D., it's a bunch of guys, so it's what takes care of a bunch of guys and allies and stuff. I don't know this character, or it's just escaping me. Zoran? It's either Zoran or Zoran. Sorry, I just don't know the character, or I'm just not remembering it. It's not coming to mind at the moment. 1 scheme, 1 attack, with something special on the attack, 5 hit points. Zoran gets plus X attack, where X is the printed resource cost of the card tucked under him. When revealed, tuck a weapon upgrade you control under Zoran. Otherwise, tuck the top card of your deck under Zoran. So he's going to get rid of a weapon or just get rid of something on top of your deck. So he's always going to have just a random boost to his attack. Not good. All right, we got their side scheme here. Batroc's Brigade is going to start with 6 threat on it. Each minion gains toughness. Ooh. When revealed, give each enemy a tough status card. No. Hero Interrupt. When you reveal a non-elite minion, spend 3 resources of any type. Cancel the effects of that minion and discard it. I mean, that can be good. But then again, especially, I don't know. You got Machete coming out a lot. And then, I guess you have a lot of resources, but I don't know about all that. Oh, it's only non-elites. Yeah, so you could use them against them. I don't know. I don't like it. Soldiers of Fortune. Treachery. When revealed, choose. Spend 3 resources of any type. Or find a mercenary minion and reveal it. If no minion entered play this way, this card gains Surge. So draining your resources. That's what it's going to do. The boost is choose. Either spend 1 resource of any type or this card has 3 boost. Ooh. So basically discard a card. All right. So that's everything we're going to see for Batroc. Sorry, I went in and decided to separate them out. That way I can look at them ahead of time from the back, at least quickly, and just make sure I'm turning over all the double-sided cards so that you can see everything. All right, we have MODOK here. It's got Retaliate 1, Forced Interrupt. When MODOK would be defeated, if a holding cell is in play, remove 2 lock counters from it and reset MODOK's hit points to 10 instead. Otherwise, the players win the game. Okay. So another interesting take we're going to have to look at here. He's got 10 hit points. And it's letting us know 27 cards into his deck. It says there's a side B. So side B, 3 scheme, 1 attack, retaliate 2, steady. Ugh. Force Interrupt. When MODOK would be defeated, if a holding cell is in play, remove 2 lock counters from it and reset MODOK's hit points to 14 instead. Otherwise, the players win the game. So hence, reset his hit points back to 14. All right. We have his main scheme here, upgrading Adaptoids. We have Scientist Supreme. We haven't seen that yet as this side encounter or encounter set. Setup. Create the holding cell deck. I just went and looked that up. Apparently, there's 4 cards that are going to be under here that are going to part of that are going to be that deck. Put 1 random Adaptoid environment into play. 2 environments instead in expert mode, and set the others aside. Each player searches the encounter deck for a copy of Adaptoid and reveals it. Upgrade Adaptoids, Forced Interrupt. Well, first off, 7 threat per player to pull this off. 1 threat per player begins on it, and it accelerates at 1 threat per player. When the stage would be completed as a Forced Interrupt, put 1 random set-aside Adaptoid environment into play instead. Then if there are no set-aside Adaptoid environments, the players lose the game. If there's not a way to get rid of the Adaptoid things, then you just got to make sure you're trying to stop more and more. It's going to be powering up, I'm assuming. But otherwise, remove all threat from here and shuffle each Adaptoid minion from the encounter discard pile into the encounter deck. So the Adaptoids are just getting more and more powerful. We got the holding cell environment here. Enters play with 2 per player lock counters on it. Forced Interrupt. When the last lock counters are moved from here, flip this card and put a flying inhuman into play under any player's control. Hero action. Spend 2 energy resource or 3 resources of any type to remove 1 lock counter from here. And there's the flying inhuman. 2 thwart, 1 attack, has something special on the thwart, 5 hit points, does not count against your ally limit. As a response for the thwart, after this ally thwarts, remove 1 threat from another scheme. Force response, after this card leaves play, flip it and place it on the bottom of the holding cell deck. So basically comes back in play. So this is the holding cell deck it was talking about. Because there's the same one. It's probably going to say the same thing. Yep, it's all the same thing except it's psionic human and uses the mental resource here to get the psionic human. 1 thwart, 1 attack, something special on thwart, just like before. 5 hit points. After this ally thwarts, remove 1 lock counter from a holding cell. So it helps you get more holding cells opened. And then same thing goes back if it leaves play. So this is Sarah Garza. As a hero action, you have to spend a wild resource or 3 resources instead of the energy or mental. 2 thwart, 2 attack, something special on her attack. 5 hit points. Her attacks gain overkill is what the special thing is, and ranged. Okay. And then same thing. Sure wanting to use these characters, but then you want to be kind of careful because if they get knocked out or something, I mean, they just get captured again. Well, actually, because I mean, looking at this, it sounds like that's what you got to do. You got to get all these characters out and out of the locked cells. Otherwise, he just keeps resetting, which is going to, every time you knock him out, he resets, which gives you 1. But you got to basically make sure you're keeping them all. Otherwise, basically, got to get them all out of the holding cells. Because this one's the same thing, except you get a strong Inhuman. And he uses the physical resource. And you get the strong Inhuman. It's a 1 thwart, 3 attack, 7 hit points. Gets toughness, does not count against your ally limit. And then same thing. So, I mean, yeah, just got to get all 4 of them. We have a flying upgrade. So these are the upgrades for the adaptoids. Each adaptoid gets +1 scheme, gains insight 1, and gains the aerial trait. Sonic upgrade. Each adaptoid gains villainous and sonic trait. Sarah Garza upgrade. Each adaptoid gains the elite trait. Each adaptoid gets +1 attack, and its attacks gain overkill and range. And I'm assuming this next one's going to be the strong one. Yep. Each adaptoid gets +1 attack, gains toughness, and gains the brute trait. Then we get Adaptoid, which they already showed. This is going to be what you're going to be dealing with. They're hopefully not getting these upgrades and starting to get tougher. It's just that you know they got 1 scheme, 1 attack, and whatever. You got to look at the environments if they're in play for what their stats are. It's got 5 hit points. When defeated, remove 1 all-purpose counter from an environment. And then as a boost, after this activation, shuffle Adaptoid into the encounter deck. So basically, those Adaptoids stay in there, and I'm assuming 4 of them. Yep. And you got 4 Adaptoids you're going to have to deal with throughout the deck. All right, we got Automated Mobile Unit. Gives him +1 attack as an attachment. Attached to MODOK. MODOK gets +5 hit points. As a forced response, after MODOK's hit points are reset, discard this card. So basically just giving him 5 more hit points. Focusing Crystal attachment. +1 scheme, +1 attack. Attached to MODOK. Forced response. After MODOK's hit points are reset, discard this card. Giving him acceleration. So he's going to be beefing up along with the Adaptoids. Nanobots attachment. Star scheme, star attack. Attached to MODOK. The star is forced response. After MODOK activates, heal 1 damage from him. As a forced response, after MODOK's hit points are reset, discard this card. Psionic Force Field attachment attached to MODOK. Attached enemy gains Stalwart. Force Interrupt. When attached enemy would take any amount of damage, place it here instead. Then if there's at least 5 damage here, discard this card, which is making him harder if you're just going with straight, just knocking him out instead of finding other things. But if there's at least 5 damage here, discard this card. The boost is attach this card to the activating enemy. Psionic Machetes. Attachment. +1 attack. Attached to MODOK. Star is on the attack. MODOK's attacks gain piercing. Force response. After MODOK's hit points are reset, discard this card. Boost being, if this activation is in attack, it gains piercing. Reverse Engineering attachment. +X scheme, +X attack with something special attached to MODOK. This special is X is equal to the printed cost of the card tucked here. When revealed, tuck an upgrade you control under here. Otherwise, tuck the top card of your deck under here. Forced response. After MODOK's hit points are reset, discard this card. So, I mean, you happen to get an upgrade that's 0 and tuck it under there? Or at least hopefully a 1? We got the Aim Jailer here, minion. 0 scheme, 2 attack, 4 hit points. He's got guard. When revealed, Aim Jailer attacks the rescued ally with the fewest remaining hit points. Otherwise, place 1 lock counter on a holding cell. So, putting them back. Hostage situation, side scheme. MODOK cannot take damage. It starts with 3 threat on there per player. When revealed, attach 1 rescued ally face up here. Attached ally is under no player's control. Attached ally is still in play. When defeated, the defeating player takes control of attached ally. Sonic Enhancement Side Scheme. Hinder 1 per player. So it's going to get 3 threat on here plus 1 per player. Has the additional boost icon. As a boost, give this activating enemy an additional boost card. It's alive. When revealed, each player searches the encounter deck and discard pile for an Adaptoid minion and reveals it. Shuffle. Deal each player who did not engage a minion this way a face-down encounter card. Psionic Blast. Treachery. When revealed, alter ego, you are confused. MODOK schemes. When revealed, hero, take X indirect damage where X is MODOK's scheme. Confuse each character that takes damage this way. He has 2 Sonic Blasts. So that's all MODOK's cards. So now we're going to see the Scientist Supreme, which they did talk about on the back, is the encounter set that goes in here. So we got Scientist Supreme, 2 scheme, 1 attack, 6 hit points, aim genius, victory -1, villainous, vulnerable. Scientist Supreme's attacks gain piercing and ranged. So he's got a lot of hit points. You can get rid of him. I mean, if you're just playing a regular battle just to get rid of him. But if you're playing the campaign, you're going to get -1. Monica Rapacini, 3 scheme, 1 attack, 5 hit points, victory -1. Vulnerable, discard this character if it is stunned or confused. While Scientist Supreme is in the victory display, Monica Rapacini gains villainous. So you definitely don't want that in there. Diplomatic Immunity. Side scheme. It's going to get 3 on there per player. When revealed, place 1 acceleration token here for each aim minion in the victory display. Has the acceleration token, has the acceleration symbol, so want to get rid of that. All right. We got Diplomatic Sanctions here. Treachery, Surge. When revealed, discard 1 card from your hand for each aim minion in the victory display. As a boost, this card gains an additional boost icon for each aim minion in the victory display. Yeah, I just don't want those in there. Do not put those in your victory display. So these guys sit there and keep taking the attacks. Sounds lovely. All right, so we knew it was going to be the Thunderbolts. And I guess by the pictures we should have known it was going to be Citizen V. So here we go. Villain, 2 scheme, 2 attack with a something for each of them. He's a Thunderbolt. Citizen V cannot be defeated unless there's at least 1 Thunderbolt per player minion in the victory display. So you got to knock out some Thunderbolts. Forced Interrupt for his attack and scheme is when Citizen V would activate against you during step 2 of the villain phase. If you are engaged with a Thunderbolt minion, Citizen V does not activate and heals 4 damage instead. Ooh. Interesting. I like it. Actually, I do kind of like it as far as like just sounds fun to play against. 3 scheme, 2 attack, so he gets the extra scheme. And it's all the same except he gets 6 hit point or heals 6 damage. And then it lets us know there's 14 cards for the Thunderbolts. His hit points are 12. And then 16 on this side. All right, we got his main scheme, apprehending rogue agents. So there's going to be no extra encounter sets with this because it's just Thunderbolts and the standard encounter set. For setup, choose 1. Oh, there we go. Choose 1 modular set plus 1 additional modular set per player, each with an elite Thunderbolt minion. Set each of those minions aside and shuffle the rest of their encounter sets into the encounter deck. Reveal the Justice like Lightning environment, which we're going to see here soon. Here's the main scheme he's going to be trying to do. Starts with 1 threat on there per player. Accelerates plus 1 threat per player. And if it gets 11 threat on there per player, it's pulled off, which if it's completed, it loses the game. Each Thunderbolt minion gains Guard as a forced response after a player attacks a Thunderbolt minion. that minion engages that player. Okay. Justice like lightning. This is the environment. When revealed, each player reveals a random set-aside Thunderbolt minion. Reveal and attach the remaining set-aside Thunderbolt minion face up here. In expert mode, give each of these minions a tough status card, then flip this card. Thunderbolt backup. The minion attached here is in play and can be targeted by attacks and abilities as a force to interrupt. When the round ends, attach the Thunderbolt minion with the most damage here, swapping it with the minion already attached here, if any. Heal 1 damage per player from the attached minion. In expert mode, heal 1 damage, additional damage from that player per player, from that minion per player, and give it a tough status card. So this is interesting things. I was actually thinking kind of boring. I mean, I was like, oh, okay, just beat a bunch of other guys so you can get to this. But no, it's going to be swapping Thunderbolts in and out. And I mean, considering it said only 14, and we got a huge stack here, I'm assuming there's a bunch of Thunderbolt encounter sets here, which is pretty cool. Because actually we haven't seen, I mean, we saw the AIM encounter sets, but I'm going to say we have, I'm looking off the side here, I'm not seeing very many encounter sets. So it's all the Thunderbolt encounter sets. So pretty cool if you want to just go up against, throw a Thunderbolt into any of your other stuff, I think. If that's what it is, I guess we'll find out. Citizen V's Sword. Attachment, +1 scheme, +1 attack. Weapon, when revealed, attach to Citizen V. He activates against you. As a hero response, after you attack and damage Citizen V, spend 2 strength or physical resources. Discard this card. We got Jolt as a minion. Here's a Thunderbolt. 0 scheme, 1 attack, 5 hit points. Villainous, when defeated, place 3 threat on the main scheme. Hero action, exhaust your hero, place 1 parlay counter on Jolt. If there are 3 or more parlay counters here, remove Jolt from the game. So from the game. Oh, is that the only Thunderbolt in the deck? Innocent Bystanders. Obligation. Uses 4 bystander counters. Force response, after you attack an enemy or an enemy attacks you, either spend 1 resource of any type or place 1 threat on the main scheme. 2 threat if you're in expert mode. Remove 1 bystander counter from here. Gotta protect, innocent bystanders. All right, we got the side scheme here. The Coming Storm. When revealed, each player engages each minion engaged with the player clockwise from them. It's going to start with 2 threat on there per player and an additional encounter card. Well, I hadn't seen one of those yet, so I'm assuming it was going to come up soon. Rumbling Thunder. Gets 3 threat on there per player. When revealed, each player engages each minion engaged with the player clockwise from them. Has an acceleration. Down but not out. Treachery. When revealed, choose a random Thunderbolt minion from the victory display and reveal it. Place damage on that minion until it has 5 hit points remaining. Then remove this card from the game. If no minion entered play this way, this card gains Surge. Tap in. Treachery. When revealed, engage the Thunderbolt minion with the least damage that is not engaged with you. That minion activates against you. If no minion activated this way, Citizen V activates against you. And that's it on the the Thunderbolts. And now I'm assuming, like I said, we're going to see all the Thunderbolts, which actually got me to thinking as I was reading those last few cards. It's probably why I kind of was talking different. As I got thinking about it, I like the way they did this. Not only because it's a side encounter that's going to give you these Thunderbolts, but if you think about the way the Thunderbolts, Suicide Squad, however you want to look at it, they were always subbing in members and new members here and there and stuff like that. So, I mean, they can release stuff later for people that are Thunderbolt, especially when the Thunderbolt movie comes out if they want. And you can start getting, like, these Thunderbolt teams and making your own Thunderbolt team stuff. Sidetrack, but I like that. I like. If I'm thinking that's what it is, I like it. We got Moonstone here. 16 hit points. 2 scheme, 2 attack. Aerial Elite Thunderbolt. Something special on both those. Villainous, victory 1. So at least goes to the victory pile. We already saw things can come back from the victory pile with extra hit points. Forced response after Moonstone. It activates. Give her a tough stat. Oh, that's all she needs with 16 hit points is a tough status card. That sounds lovely. Lets us know there's going to be 6 cards in her side encounter. Here's the side scheme for it. Rule the skies. 3 threat on there per player. Each aerial character gets +1 attack. Oh, that is just disgusting. And plus encounter card. No, ma'am. As a boost, if the activating enemy has the aerial trait, give it an additional boost card. Gravitational pull, treachery. When revealed, find Moonstone and reveal her. If she is already in play, she engages you. Moonstone activates against you. If no enemy activated this way, this card gains Surge. As a boost, exhaust a character you control. Psychological manipulation. When revealed, yeah, I mean, if you know the character, it's awesome, actually. Psychological manipulation. When revealed, alter ego. Discard an ally or support you control. Otherwise, this card gains Surge. When revealed, hero. Deal X damage to that friendly character with the fewest remaining hit points, where X is equal to your hero's attack. Psychologically manipulate you into taking out one of your allies. So that's Moonstone. It looks like we're going to have another 6. I can put it up there, but it's the hard squad. Songbird. 0 scheme, 0 attack. Star on each of those. 16 again. I guess it makes sense because you're not going... because it's when you've knocked out enough Thunderbolts to be able to now take out Citizen V. If you really think about it, Citizen V is only 1 stage. And then it's basically just adding an extra stage villain for each. Like I said, I really do like this. At first I was thinking boring, but now the more I'm thinking about it, I like the way they did this. So, anyways, Villainous, victory 1. Forced interrupt. When Songbird activates, give her 1 additional boost card for this activation. Ugh. Solid sound constructs. Attachment, weapon attached to Songbird, otherwise attached to the villain. Attached enemy loses Stalwart. Is a forced interrupt. When attached enemy would gain a confused or stunned status card, discard this card instead. And has a boost icon, additional boost icon. Hard sound bindings. Attachment attached to your identity, forced interrupt. When you would attack, discard hard sound bindings instead, then you are stunned. As a boost, you are stunned. If you were already stunned, give the activating enemy an additional boost card. Got the side scheme here. Sonic Bubble. 3 threat per player. Forced interrupt. When any amount of damage would be dealt to an enemy, remove an equal amount of threat from here instead with the crisis icon. Hard sound. Treachery. When revealed, find Songbird and reveal her. If she's already in play, she engages you. Songbird activates against you. If no enemy activated this way, this card gains Surge. As a boost, give the activating enemy an additional boost card. So it sounds like something that's going to be kind of in all these. We got Black Widow as the Thunderbolt. 2 scheme, 1 attack. Something special with scheme, 14 hit points. Retaliate 1. Villainous, of course, victory. Forced response, whenever it schemes. After Black Widow schemes against you, search the encounter deck and discard pile for a copy of Handspring and attach it to her. Then shuffle, otherwise you are confused. So we got Handspring. This is what the forced response allows her to go get. Handspring attachment, attached to Black Widow, otherwise attached to the villain. So this is kind of like the preparation stuff. Forced interrupt. When attached enemy would take damage from an attack, deal that damage to the attacking character instead. Oh, no. Discard this card. No, no, no. Oh, I did not say, but it is 6 cards in this one also. It looks like they're all going to be like that. Pride of the Red Room. Side scheme. 4 threat on there. When revealed, place 1 additional threat here for each preparation card in play. So that can hurt you. And I would say, since this is a side encounter, yeah, since this is a side encounter, man, you put this with Black Widow, now you got some more preparations. Like, oh. Okay. Additional boost icon. Pale Little Spider, which is what this is actually called. I guess I'm going to mention that. Pale Little Spider. Treachery, when revealed, find Black Widow and reveal her. If she's already in play, she engages you. Black Widow activates against you. If no enemy activated this way, this card game. Yeah, we've seen this in both the decks. The boost is you are confused. If you are already confused, place one threat on the main scheme. Then we go to the next Thunderbolt, which there are 6 of. The Power of the Atom. We got Radioactive Man. He's got 18 hit points, 1 scheme, and 2 attack with a forced response of something. He's villainous with victory. Forced response. After Radioactive Man activates against you, deal 1 damage to each character you control. Radiation exposure. -1 scheme and -1 attack with something special attached to your identity. Okay, so it's attached to your identity. Yeah, you're getting exposed to radiation. Attached to your identity. If attached identity has the gamma trait, this attachment gives +1 attack instead. I'm gonna expose Hulk. Force response, or She-Hulk actually. Force response, after you recover, discard 1 card from your hand. Discard this card. Then we have the side scheme. Runaway nuclear reaction. Starts with 5 threat. Force response, after Radioactive Man is dealt any amount of damage, place an equal amount of threat here. Then if there are 10 or more threat here, deal 10 damage to each character and discard runaway nuclear reaction. Sorry. Woo! These definitely are, yeah, I'm getting the Hood vibe all over again. I remember going through that one and it was just, and that's what I'm thinking here. Crisis thing. Power of the Atom. Find Radioactive Man, reveal him. He activates against you. If no enemy activates this way, his card gains Surge. The boost is take 2 indirect damage, and there's probably 2 of those. We got Mach 4 here. 16 hit points, 1 scheme, 2 attack with something going on. Villainous victory. When the attack, each character without the aerial trait cannot make basic defenses against Mach 4's attacks. Take these guys down fast. That's all I can say. Blasters attachment. +1 attack with something special. Attached to Mach 4, otherwise attached to the enemy with the highest attack. Attached enemy's attack gains overkill and ranged. Hero response, after you attack and damage attached enemies, spend 2 energy resources to discard this card. It is 6 again, just like the others, and it is called Supersonic. Heat-seeking missiles. Attachment, attached to Mach 4, otherwise attached to the villain. It's got a star for the attack, uses for missile counters. I'm assuming the piercing thing since we saw that before. After attached enemy, as a force response, after attached enemy attacks you, remove 1 missile counter from here and take 2 indirect damage. Okay, not the piercing, but it's indirect damage. Shoot missiles. Side scheme, aerial dogfight, starts with 3 threat on it. Hinder, so 2 more threat per player. Reduce the damage each aerial character takes from each attack by 2 unless the attacker or attack has the aerial trait or the attack has range. At least they're making it to where I always felt like aerial trait was just kind of meh. At least this guy definitely makes it to where it's worth having. Gets an encounter card. Supersonic, I'm assuming the when revealed is all the same. Yep. But the boost is, if this activation is an attack, it gains overkill and ranged. And then we get, looks like it's probably going to be the last one, Batroc. 1 scheme, 2 attacks, 16 hit points, villainous victory, forced interrupt. When Batroc engages you, discard 1 card from your hand. And then we have his side scheme, and he is 6 cards in here. It's called the Leaper. I'm probably going to butcher this. The Coupe de Foudre? Coupe de Foudre? Foudre? I'm going to say Coupe de Foudre. All right. Forced interrupt. When a minion engages a player, that player discards the top X cards of their deck, where X is the number of boost icons on that minion. Place 1 threat here for each printed energy resource discarded this way, and get the acceleration. Batroc the Leaper, Treachery. When revealed, find Batroc and reveal him. So these are the same ones that we've seen before. Usually the last two, so what are we going to see after this? But the boost is discard 1 card from your hand. Parcours du Combattant. Treachery, Surge. When revealed, each player engages each minion engaged with the player clockwise from them. And then as a boost, after this attack resolves, engage a minion in play that is not engaged with you. And there's 2 of those. And I know normally I don't go through all these. I just show them to you quickly. But I thought I'd try something different. But it is definitely making for a long video. But we'll see. All right. So the last encounter set before we just hit the campaign cards. We got Baron Zemo here. He's got 3 scheme, 2 attack. Forced Interrupt. When Baron Zemo would be defeated, reset his hit points to 12 instead. Remove 3 secret counters from among board member environments. And then it's got a second side, which I'm assuming is probably the expert side. 3 scheme, 2 attack. Forced Interrupt. When Baron Zemo activates against you, either place 1 secret counter on a board member card or give Baron Zemo an additional boost card for this activation. And then we got B, Baron Zemo, 4-2, gets an additional scheme. Forced Interrupt. When Baron Zemo would be defeated, reset his hit points to 16 instead. Remove 3 secret counters from among board member environments. 4 scheme, 2 attack with something special. Steady, the special is Forced Interrupt. When Baron Zemo activates against you, either place 2 secret counters on a board member card or give Baron Zemo an additional boost card for this activation. All right. So we see his main schemes here. He's got 3 of them. Zemo's manipulations, the contents. Yeah, so the flip side is not expert. The B is expert. Oh, apparently we're going to have a S.H.I.E.L.D. executive board as an encounter set. Executive board evidence. 2 modular encounter sets. Scientist Supreme and S.H.I.E.L.D. is what it wants. And then set up, prepare the evidence. See rule book for page 18. I went and looked it up. So it sounds like there's going to be a mole. And this villain set, you got to try to figure out who the mole is what you're trying to do. Put each board member environment into play. If not playing campaign mode, place 2 secret counters on each board member environment. And then Zemo's manipulations, 2 per player, 2 threat on there per player. Accelerates 2 threat per player, 12 threat for players, the goal. Response, after the player phase ends, the first player may place 2 secret counters on a board member environment that has no secret counters on it to gain 2 cards from the S.H.I.E.L.D. envelope. 1 card instead in campaign mode. The players may advance to stage 2A to make their accusation. So this is where you're trying to figure out the mole. If they complete this goal, so you're taking too long to get information, then you could lose the game. The accusation, so yeah, you can progress to it if you want to make the accusation. When revealed, make an accusation by guessing a means, a motive, and an opportunity along with the board member associated with that combination in the campaign log. This board member is the accused. Okay. When revealed, do the following. Use the cards in the aim envelope to identify the mole. For each guess you got wrong, place 1 secret counter on each board member card. If you accuse the wrong board member, place 3 secret counters on the accused. And then advance to stage 3A. So now you go to fight Zemo. When revealed, flip Baron Zemo to his unmasked side. There we go, to flip side. And reset his hit points to his printed hit point value. Find Baron Zemo's sword and attach it to him. Then starts with 0 threat, accelerates 2 per turn, 12 per player to losing. When revealed, flip the mole to its attached side and attach it to the Baron Zemo. Place 1 threat per player here for each secret counter on each board member attachment. And then we see Baron Zemo's sword here. Baron Zemo sword attachment, +2 attack with something special attached to Baron Zemo. Force response, after Baron Zemo attacks and defeats a character, place 1 secret counter on the board member environment with the fewest secret counters. So I guess manipulating them more, or is he killing them? I guess we'll see. Hero action, spend 3 physical or 3 energy resources. Remove 1 secret counter from the board member environment and discard this card. Reluctant Foe attachment. Treat attached hero as an elite minion with scheme equal to its printed thwart. Replace its printed text box with villainous. When defeated, remove this hero and Reluctant Foe from the game. When revealed, search your collection for a hero whose title does not match a character in play and put it into play engaged with you. Attach this card to it. So basically, yeah, turns one of your allies into a foe. Yep. And then he's got shield agents, minion, 2 scheme, 1 attack with specials, 3 hit points with something special. Shield, quick strike, vulnerable. The special for all those is forced interrupt. When shield agent activates or is defeated, add 1 secret counter to a board member environment with the fewest secret counters. All right, and then we have a side scheme, divided loyalties. Makes sense what they're going here. Some Civil War stuff, right? 3 threat with hinder, so an additional threat per player is an additional cost for a player to attack, thwart, or defend with an ally. That player must spend 1 resource of any type. When this is defeated, remove 1 secret counter per player from among board member environments. Kind of getting a Red Skull vibe here. Well, it makes sense with the character. Undermine support. Gets 3 threat on there, plus a hinder of additional 1 threat per player as an additional cost for a player to ready a support. That player must spend 1 resource of any type. When defeated, remove 1 secret counter per player from among board member environments. We got Battle of Wits here. Treachery, when revealed, Baron Zemo schemes. If this activation would place any threat on the main scheme, you may spend X mental resources to prevent X of that threat and remove X secret counters from among the board member environments. Might makes right treachery. When revealed, alter ego, place 2 threat counters on the board member environment with the fewest secret counters. When revealed hero, Baron Zemo attacks you. If no character takes damage from this attack, remove 3 secret counters from among board member environments. The ends justify the means. Treachery, when revealed, choose. Baron Zemo defeats the minion with the fewest remaining hit points. Baron Zemo schemes. Or discard an ally or support you control. Remove secret counters from among board member environments equal to the discarded card's printed resource cost. And I didn't mention, but there's 17 cards in this thing, and that's all of them. So now we get probably the last encounter set. S.H.I.E.L.D. it says. There's 5 of them. We got the S.H.I.E.L.D. Trooper here. 0 scheme, 2 attack, 4 hit points. Patrol and vulnerable. Patrol and vulnerable. When defeated, the engaged player discards 1 S.H.I.E.L.D. ally or support they control. Otherwise, place 2 threat on the main scheme. We got 3 S.H.I.E.L.D. troopers and an arrest warrant. Yeah. You're attacking S.H.I.E.L.D. Looks like you're the one that turned. Arrest warrant, obligation, alter ego action. Hey, I mean, at least it's a S.H.I.E.L.D. card, right? So if it's in play on your side, you have extra stuff, right? Alter ego action, exhaust your identity or 1 S.H.I.E.L.D. card you control. Search the encounter deck and discard pile for a S.H.I.E.L.D. minion and reveal it. Shuffle, discard this card. So basically you have to have a S.H.I.E.L.D. agent and you got to engage them. Okay. And has the acceleration token. And then the side scheme for that encounter set, disavowed, starts with 2 threat. Increase the resource cost to play each S.H.I.E.L.D. card by 1. When revealed, place 1 threat here for each S.H.I.E.L.D. card in play. An additional encounter card. I was about to say, I was like, man, that's kind of weak. Because if you're not playing one of the S.H.I.E.L.D. or S.H.I.E.L.D. deck or something, but then that's why it has all the S.H.I.E.L.D. things and it puts these S.H.I.E.L.D. guys in there to make this kind of a threat. So, okay. Makes a lot more sense. This sounds fun, actually. I kind of want to go through this campaign. All right, we got Chief Medical Officer Environment here. It says S.H.I.E.L.D. Executive Board. Oh, yeah, they mentioned that with these other things. So I guess this actually should have been with that. Yeah, setup. If there are 4 more secret counters here. So setup, I'm assuming it goes into play. If there are 4 or more secret encounters here, 3 or more instead in expert mode, flip this card. As a hero action, spend 2 energy resources. Remove 1 secret counter from here, then heal 1 damage from a friendly character. So then it would flip. Medical Officer's Aid. +1 attack attachment attached to the villain. Permanent. Forced response. After a secret counter is placed here, either heal 2 damage from the villain or deal 1 damage to the friendly character with the fewest remaining hit points. If there are 3 board member attachments in play, the players lose the game. So you got to make sure it's not an attachment. So that's why it's adding counters on. That makes sense now. Okay. I was like, okay, it's just adding these counters on there, but just put them on there. Yeah, you can't let these counters get put on there. Otherwise, they're going to flip, become attachments, and you're going to lose the game. Chief Surveillance Officer. Yep, same thing, set up, all the same thing. It's just mental resource instead of energy. And when you do that, it instead removes 2 threat from a scheme. If it flips as an attachment, Surveillance Officer's Aid gives the villain +1 scheme. After a secret counter is placed here, place 2 threat on the main scheme. And if the same thing if there's 3. And notice these are permanent too. So that means once they flip, there's no unflipping these as far as I could tell. Chief Tactical Officer. All the same stuff except is 2 physical and does 2 damage to an enemy. The Tactical Officer's Aid is going to give +1 attack to the villain when it flips or attaches to them. As a forced response, after a secret counter is placed here, deal 2 damage to a friendly character. So, and the same thing, lose the game. This is all part of this same thing. So aim interference. In Sight 1, when revealed, place 1 secret counter on each board member card. You may spend X energy resources to prevent X of these counters from being placed. As the boost, resolve this card's when revealed ability. And I'm assuming there's 1 for each of these. Yep, there's the mental one, aim interference. There's the physical one. And then that's all that encounter set. And it mentioned this one too. So this was side encounter that goes with that one too. It's called the Executive Board Evidence. There are 9 cards in that deck. Here's the Medical Records Evidence. This is a means. Setup. Each player may add 1 secret counter to a board member environment to search their collection for a different protection ally and shuffle it into their deck. Oh, that's pretty cool. Each player may add 1 threat to the main scheme to search their deck for a protection ally and add it to their hand, and then shuffle. So these are the cards that are going to go inside of those folders, and you figure these things out. Here's some more evidence. The Wiretap. It's another means. Each player may add 1 secret counter to a board member environment to search their collection for a different justice ally. So that one's the protection. This is the justice one. Doing the same thing. So this is probably the aggression one. Yep. So security scanner, and this is probably going to be... Oh, I said protection. It was leadership, wasn't it? Oh, no. They didn't do a leadership one. These were allies. This one is an upgrade. And this is the motive. So that was the means. Now we're going into the motive, money. And that's for a protection upgrade. We got blackmail evidence for motive. And this lets you go get a justice upgrade. So then we got ideology for the motive. And it lets you go get an aggression upgrade. And then we get to the new one, security clearance for opportunity. And that's going to let you get a protection support. And then we get travel for opportunity. And it gives you a justice support. And then this one should be the aggression one, which is authority. All right. No, this looks like a fun campaign. And like I already mentioned before, we're definitely going to do some playthroughs with Nick Fury and Maria Hill. We're going to play these decks unchanged. We will put them up against Black Widow, see how they fare. And yeah, if you have been following the channel, I'm sorry I didn't post anything last year. Like I said, I wasn't comfortable with the place where I was filming at. Now I've got a new place, set up a new thing. Hopefully get the channel back on track, and especially start covering more of these Marvel Champions things and start showing you some more playthroughs and stuff and whatnot. But I'm not going to keep on too much longer because this video was long enough. I'm going to try to edit out and cut as much as I can. Maybe I cannot go through all this stuff and go back. I have to go back to just showing y'all cards. But if y'all prefer the way I'm doing it now, to where it goes through every single card instead of just, let me know down in the comments. The back of the campaign log, or the campaign log for the thing. So you see there's going to be a bunch of kind of neat looking stuff that's going to be going on, I think. I guess just letting you know the evidence combinations and whatnot. So, yeah. All right. With that, I'm going to let y'all go. I am excited to do some new Marvel Champions stuff in this new film area. Thank you for watching, and have a great day.